Hi again everyone. I've not done a YouTube video for a while for whatever reason. I've had other projects going on. I thought I'd do a catch-up video on my setup, the changes I've made, and I said that I'd do, well, I think in my last video I said that I would do a little bit more on the SimVibe that I got last year. It's probably been just a year or just over a year. Can't remember. I'm not sure, but anyway, I've done a few changes to my rig. I've took out the centre post. I know there's still a bit there, but I use that to carry to hold the wires from all the stuff that comes out the back of the G25. Yes, I'm still using my G25, but it is modded, as you've probably seen if you've seen my other videos. So that's got rid of that post, so I can get in and out quite easily now. I've also added the butt kicker that used to be on the back behind the seat. You can see that very beefy butt kicker for the pedals, and that's the amplifier that runs it all. That's just me PC, my good old PC. All special thanks to this dude here, Kerry Holzman, for inspiring me to build these. Guy in America, he's got his own channel. He builds PCs live on screen, and you know, he pushed me to do this one. It's got the old GTX 970 in there, and a 8350 AMD. Is it 8 core? Getting old now, that, and a saber-tooth motherboard, but it's absolutely spot on for driving. This me standard PC I use for surfing the internet, again inspired by the man, and that's got oh, actually that's got a pretty good AMD 270, I think. I used to have it in my driving rig. Can't remember what that's called. That's bad, isn't it? This is the reason why I haven't been making videos. I've got a new toy. I won't go on and elaborate this because it's on a different. I bought a telescope, and I've been messing around with that for a while. I've always wanted a telescope, and finally got around to getting one. But anyway, that's another story. So yeah. That's my first major upgrade, is the butt kicker, and lost the centre post. Everything else is still the same. Amplifier for the to the two side speakers down there, and underneath the amplifier and the butt kicker, if you can see it. That's for the seat. And boy, does that gives your ass a workout, I can tell you. So two of those on the back, one under the seat, and the one there. I'm having to trail me power supply to my phone, because if I don't use my power supply, it'll go flat quick. So you have to excuse me. I haven't got all the proper kit for doing video. I also got rid of me, that's my whole old, I don't know if it's coming out in the sun very well, that's my old gear shifter, the G25. I've replaced it with the sequential shifter, Derek Spears. Yep, and it's had to be mounted very, very substantially, because it's got quite a lot of power. Yeah. So what I've had to do, this monitor stand used to stand on its own, and I've now screwed it to the floor. You can see there. And I've also had it mounted two bars coming off the side here, these things here that go into the side. They're mounted under to this solid MDF board that's mounted underneath at the back. Oops, excuse me. Yeah, everything's had to be screwed in solid. I can't see that, so I don't know where that's coming out. I've had to put a real thick piece of timber, you can see it there, to support everything. And then this got screwed to it, so the whole unit now is bolted to the wall, so it's not going anywhere. It is really, really strong, and made a difference. But the biggest difference for me is that I haven't got that centre post anymore. Like I say, I only use this piece here just to keep these cables from getting in the way. I could get rid of that if I wanted to, but it means I'd have to run the cables right behind the gear. The pedals. And the reason, obviously, the reason why I'm still using my G25 is because of this. You know, this quick release. Dubry. This baby here. If you can see that. SRWS1 rim modified. This is my second wheel in this year, last year, sorry, up till now. I think when did I do it? About a week ago. The circuit board went on it. Luckily, I bought a spare wheel because they seem to be rocketing up in price. They went from £39 on Amazon right up to just nearly 100. But I went on sometime last year just to have a look, and lo and behold, there was one there for 39 still, and it was brand new, so I bought it. And like I say, I've only just used it to take the circuit board out of it. See if I can get that over there. Probably can't. Oh, I can. Yeah, I used the circuit board out of it because these things here, these levers, that one there, the left hand one, just didn't work anymore. The click didn't work anymore. Every time I went to change gear, it was just like that. I'm using the other paddle, but it just felt like that, absolutely gone. Because obviously I've caned it. So luckily I bought one, but the reason, like I say, the reason why I've got my G25 still is because I've modified the interior of it. You know, it's got a new brass encoder, and I've also sorted out the mounted inside the front. It was all cracking, so that's all been upgraded. And there's nothing wrong with the wheel, it works fantastic. The force feedback I still get, it's unbelievable, and I just love it. So yeah, that's those two there. These two. You might think I'm into toy RC, but I'm not. It's for virtual race car. It's a program on the internet that I use, and you can use your own system. And this is the dongle for it. USB dongle that you can use, and you can play the virtual race car game on the internet. So it works quite well. That's my phone going off. Right, getting back to SimVibe. I've got Project Cars running at the moment, and I wanted just to show you. There's one bloke on the internet that's questioned me about settings. I'm not sure of his name, and I said I'd get back to him about Project Cars and a few others. So I thought I'd just chuck this in as well at the same time. So if I Alt and Tab back into my setup, here's the program, and the Project Cars is running. So you just press the control panel and output mixer. These are the three settings that I'm using: chassis mode, seat, and pedals. I've got pedals switched off at the moment because I'm just working out me under the seat and the chassis vibrations and settings. But if I click this down arrow on the chassis mode, these are the only effects I use. Road textures and road bumps. Impacts you should always have anyway, doesn't matter what if you're using extensions or chassis mode. But if I wanted to add an effect, add a different thing, there's all these other ones, but I've found that they all do the same thing. White speed, speed-based white noise. All that does is just gently get louder and louder, and I've just found that it just drowns out all the other effects. So I've not bothered with that. Vertical surges again and textures. As soon as you move, they just start rumbling. To fine-tune these, you'd spend ages. So what I've done is I've just used the textures. Road textures does exactly the same thing as surges and vertical textures. So I've got those set pretty minimalised so that I'm feeling a bit of road. Obviously when you're driving a real car you can feel rumble as you're going over tarmac and a few bumps. But these I just haven't bothered with. Obviously I don't use gear change on my chassis, I use it under the seat, so that's not on there. But these are all the settings for for project cars for chassis mode. So there's not that many. And if I click off that and then go under my seat, these are the settings for under the seat. I've got engine vibration, and that does feel really good. I mean, I've got it right down at the moment. I've got gear change, and I've got 2 gear change, both at slightly different. If I just drop that down, both at slightly different tones, and that gives me a slightly different feeling as I'm changing up and then down the gears. So I've got two gear changes, impacts as usual, and that's it for and road bumps. But road bumps are well down. Again, just to give me that little bit more thump under my rear, and it works fantastic. And I can, obviously I can feel bumps when I'm going over them on the seat, on the chassis mode. So I'm getting that effect, brilliant. If I go into game stock car, there's a whole load of other settings, but I've found over the year I've been using it, a lot of these settings you just don't need. It's just a case of fine tuning, but also it's also it's the user, it's whoever's using it, it's their preference, isn't it? If you like a few more this and a few more that, you use them. But you see, at the moment, the butt kickers I've got under the pedals, I'm just experimenting with just a bit of vibration from the feet, as if you're like, again, you're driving your car and you got your foot on the accelerator and the pedals. I don't think you really feel the gears going through the pedals. I might stick some engine vibration in there, but it's mostly coming through the seat, the vibration, and all around. I mean, you could use engine vibration on the chassis as well. So I've kept that away from the pedals, and I'm just trying to isolate the pedals just for a few textures as I'm driving. And again, I've got them set quite low because it's very powerful. I mean, the butt kicker I'm using is a pretty powerful butt kicker. And again, if I had it on too much, it would just drown the whole system out. So yeah, that's Project Cars. I hope that's kind of made it a little bit easier. But going back to what I think about the software, I mean, I was raving about it last video, saying, "Oh, I hope it works," and I spent 50 odd quid on it, but. I have to be careful to be fair. I live in it's a house split into 4 where I live, and you probably can tell I'm quite high up here. This is my games room. It's like a flat, so the guys downstairs, I don't want to piss them off, so I can't unfortunately use SimVibe at night time because I race a lot late at night. And they'd be knocking on the door in seconds if I had this rig on full bore, you know, rattling and what have you. So that's my only, that's what I'm a little bit sad about. But in the day, when I'm here, I can have it on as loud as I want. Even when one of them just had, yeah, it's downstairs. Sorry if I had a little one, and she seems to be in quite a lot, and she's never complained once during the day. And I've said to her, look, you know, if you hear any rumbling or banging, please let me know. And you know, I'm not one of these that said sod you, you know. But she's never said anything to me. But I've got to be very careful what I do. But obviously I check if I'm going on it in the day. If there's no cars outside, I know I'm good to go. And I'm right in the very sort of corner of the block, this house, and the other people on the other side are way across the other side. So there's quite a lot of room between me and them, and they'll never hear me anyway. But that's one thing you've got to consider if you've got like a setup like I've got, and you know, you've got to be careful you don't piss the neighbours off, because these things can get. It's not noise. I don't know what that's doing down there. It's not noise. It's just vibration. Pisses people off. Yeah, and also I've rebolted my SLIM device permanently there for when I'm using my G25. That is the standard rim. That's also got a. When I'm using that, obviously I've got no lights, so I use the that one for that one straight in front for the gear for speed and laps and what have you, or I use that one. That's the view I get when I'm driving, just about like that, with this wheel, this one I've got in my hand, because it's got no lights or nothing. But when I'm using the F1 rim, I don't usually have those two lit up, or I might just have this one on just so I can see my gears, because when you're in the heat of the battle, you never really look at the you know, the gear, the selectors on the cars that you're driving, because you're just in too much of a, you know, you're in the battle, aren't you, and you just can't see it. So this thing shines quite bright, so I know what gear I'm on. But usually this is I absolutely use this all the time. The software, just in case anyone wants to know how to work their SRW. Let me just come out of this. I think I've explained this enough. Is SLI Max Manager. You have to pay for it. You have to give about $10, donate. But once that's all up and running, this should, once it's detected all my, because it's going to, I probably haven't got anything lit up yet. Here they are. That's lit up now. Yeah. I don't know why that's gone back into there. That's all live. Let me just close that down. Yeah. When I click on that, I can do all sorts of. It's very, very technical. If I test this device, this one will come on. That one there. And it's a really good bit of software to work this, the lights on this, and these knobs I use to affect the pit lane, how it works, and the end points. In other words, when it's got to the RPM level, I can have them flashing at the end, in the middle, or in like Night Rider. So they do work. This one I haven't bothered with because it's only no, that one I don't bother with because it's only a 4-way selector, but this one can go all the way around, and it stops not quite the whole 360. So I use that one for pit lane functions, and this one I can either have them in grids of red, green, blue, or going up progressively, or coming into the side, into the middle. So it's a nice piece of software, and it works really good. Yeah, one of the reasons why I've still got the G25 is because of this. You know, the stock wheel is all right, but you know, you've got all your writing for all your different whatever these buttons do. and you got the SRW or S1 logo in here, and it didn't look right, so I thought I'd just cover it in some black sticky back paper, whatever it is, I don't know. It's shining a little bit, but it covers all the writing. And what I've also done with the wheel is I've drilled through, because the screws that hold this front panel onto the back, I'll just take it off. The screws that hold, I don't know if you can see that, they're all bolts now, M3 bolts, but they just used to be really tiny little screws that you just pop down through these holes, and you know, they're probably tiny little things and they hardly grip, and I thought, no, I'm you know, risk it, and I'll drill right the way through and use, you know, proper bolts to hold it, and if I ever need to get inside it, which obviously I have done because I've replaced the circuit board, as I've said, it's made it a lot easier, and it's more sturdy now. So there's another little mod that I did to it, really, doing that. And yeah, looks quite I could have put black ones on, but I went with a white, silver should I say, and a Mercedes logo on them, just to fill out the you know, fill out the front. And it looks quite nice, and that's the only reason why I've not got rid of my G25 yet, because I didn't, you know, to buy one of these with all this going on, these lights and all the buttons, you know, you're looking at 300, 400, 500 quid, and then you've got to have the wheel as well. So if I wanted to go to a Thrustmaster RS 300 or 500, there's 500 quid already just for the wheel. I thought, well, I don't really need it, you know. I mean, I've modified all the pedals have been modified with bigger springs, and the brakes got the progressive mod on, and all the pots have been replaced, and I clean them regular. I spray them with WD. The potentiometers, because they're one of the biggest failings of the pedals. Fine, they work brilliant, and because I've got the brass encoder in this now, it never goes out of sync, you know, like, you know, once that brass encoder, the plastic one cracks, it could start off, after its initial start off, stopping there, or as you're driving it with going down a straight with a wheel like that. But this one, I mean, it's 7 years old, is it? 8 years old? And I've had no problems with it. It's just getting better and better as I'm modifying it. So I'm really pleased with it, and when I'm driving online with my mates, and we talk about equipment and what have you, and I say I'm still running a G25, it's almost like they think, we've got him then, because but it's not the case. It's a real good setup, you know, I'm really happy with it. And until things start to break, then yeah, I will move up to the Thrustmaster wheel, get myself a decent wheel. But I think I'll still keep the pedals, because I just absolutely love the pedals, they're brilliant. So anyway, I know I'm rambling on a bit. I'll just put that there. I just thought, like I said, just thought I'd do this video, just to show that the SimVibe is running brilliant, and all the mods I've done to it, everything's really, really stable. The only thing I've had to do quickly, is you can probably notice that button box is higher than that one, because I've put this, I didn't think about this, unfortunately, when I put this in. That was really close to the wheel, and every time, the handle, and every time I went to do, I was just bashing that. So I just spun that round, because they're only on these speaker mounts for the walls. So I just spun it round and lifted it up and got that, and I don't hit it anymore, whereas before I was bashing it every time I was changing gear. I wasn't too chuffed about that, so it looks slightly odd, but well, to me it does, probably to you it doesn't, because it's normal, but there she is. So yeah, if anyone's got any questions on the setup, SimVibe, I am progressively tuning it in, and you know, getting a better setup, so I will post more videos as they come. I know I'm not one of these. I'm not a regular. That's why I don't have any subscribers and everything. I'm not interested in that. I just do it purely for my own satisfaction. And you know, if anyone gets anything out of it, fair play. You know, I like using YouTube, and I learn a lot with people. You know, doing their videos, and I hold my hat to them. I'm just using my camera. You know, my Samsung Galaxy camera, and you know, I'm hoping it looks good with the sun coming in, because it's another beautiful day, and I haven't got the kit, so you know, I'm not really a professional, what have you. I just do this for fun. So